Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Get What It podcast. This morning here in the States, I have Katrina Walker. I said that correctly?
Yeah, well done.
Well done. All right. And we are talking to you in...
Actually, right now I'm in Italy, North Italy.
Oh, North Italy. Wow, must be nice.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
So you're in North Italy. Wow, that must be nice. We'll get there.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
All right. So Katrina has like a really interesting
confusing.
Well, I don't know. I was intrigued. I was like, wow, good for you, girl. So all right, I'm going to let you talk about your like background.
Sure.
How you got to what you're doing now.
Yeah. Okay. So first, I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, born and raised.
Oh, so you're American.
Yeah, I'm American. Yeah. My English is strange now because I've been around a lot of non-native English speakers, so they've influenced me. So yeah, born and raised in Silicon Valley. So I was around tech my whole life. And in fact, I had a computer at a really young age because I have 5 older siblings. And, I was always left out. And so I think my grandpa felt pity for me and gave me this computer to entertain me. And it was perfect. I loved it. And I became quite savvy at, navigating MS-DOS at a really young age. And so I loved computers. I loved math and science as a child. And I was living at sort of, the tech epicenter of the world. And I wasn't encouraged to pursue tech, interestingly enough. And so I went on to pursue psychology in college. I went to San Francisco State University and worked as a social worker for about 5 or 6 years after college. Basically, I just kept on sort of jumping around jobs. Nothing was really resonating with me. And I went on to do a master's in cultural anthropology because I feel like when, you're looking for something more, you often turn to education to try to, either up your salary or start a new industry function. And this was the idea. After doing a master's in cultural anthropology, where do you go from there, right?
Yeah, what's cultural anthropology?
Yeah, so I studying different cultures because I had been traveling for some time. And I was able to translate that into basically some work in marketing. So I was doing global marketing. And at that point, I became introduced to the analytics industry, through things like Google Analytics. And I got really excited because I started seeing all this data and, the metrics, learning about web traffic analytics. And I thought, I was at this crossroads at the age of 30. And I thought, man, I still have all this sort of resentment towards my parents for never pursuing tech. All my friends are obviously working in tech. And they have, these privileged lifestyles where they're compensated well. They're intellectually engaged with their work. They're problem solving. And quite frankly, I was a bit bored. I had great jobs and I was working with great people, but intellectually, I felt like I wasn't using all of my bandwidth, right? And at the age of 30, it was like, okay, do I want to continue down this road or do I want to sort of up the ante and give myself a good challenge and pursue a path that I feel is ultimately more challenging and engaging, and also you can be compensated more well for it. So this was kind of the crossroads I was at, and this was 6 years ago. And so I had a lot of fears, obviously, to pursue tech because there's so many myths about it, and you feel like, can you really get into tech if you weren't studying computer science at the age of 13? And so I didn't know a lot about it, quite frankly, and what went into it. I knew that there were boot camps, and I think, boot camps have been around 2010. And I think that these institutions did a good job in sort of myth busting, learning about folks who could pursue tech that didn't get a degree in computer science. And so it was kind of like a hurricane of different elements that eventually led me to pursue graduate studies in data science. And so I was looking for a data science program that was within a social science department, that was in person, not online, and was affordable. And that took me to Barcelona. Real serendipity. It could have been anywhere in the world, but it was in Barcelona. And Barcelona obviously is a really cool city. So I moved to Barcelona almost 4 years ago, did a master's in data science, got my butt kicked. It was like a 1-year boot camp, started working as a data scientist in industry. And then that sort of led me to where we're at now. Obviously, I'm familiar with a lot of the statistics associated with women in tech. It's one thing to sort of know about them, and it's another thing to experience it directly, right? And so my graduate program was a co-ed graduate program. It wasn't an all-women school. And I didn't really have any sort of female mentors that were working in tech, nor did I have a community of women working in tech. And so when I started working as a data scientist, I felt really alienated and, wasn't connecting with my team, had a lot of doubts. And so that's when I started thinking about all women coding schools, which is nothing new. We have one in San Francisco, we have Grace Hopper in New York, one in Seattle. And I couldn't get so I'm giving you my whole life story, huh?
We love
Feel
it.
free to interrupt me. It's a non-linear path, so I feel like the best way is to just sort of give it all to you. Feel free to interrupt at any point. That's totally the norm in Spain. So I had this idea to launch an all-women coding school in Barcelona, really because of what I was experiencing, and also the feeling that Barcelona reminded me a lot of a young San Francisco. And we know the all-women coding school there worked really well. So I had this idea, wouldn't go away. I did, some modeling to see if I could basically test out this idea with minimal risk. I put together the website, launched it. I got a bonus at work and put that money into doing some social engine marketing. And what happened was people signed up. And in 2018, we launched our first boot camp. And it's been 2 years now, and we have different boot camps. We have women from all over the world doing our programs, full stack development, data analytics, and now product management. We have a campus in Malaysia. We're looking into expanding to East Africa. So it's just been a total wild adventure.
Oh my God. And it all just happened like within the last year.
I know. In the last 2 years, yeah, it's been, quite frankly, since I decided to pursue tech, it's just been a complete adventure, a nonstop, stressful, interesting adventure.
Well, but that's good because it turned out into something that benefited women in the end.
Exactly.
So what with the whole COVID, how's that affecting you?
Yeah, so I think we're lucky because we're teaching tech. So already much of our business is digitized, right? So we quickly had to transition our in-person boot camps to a remote format, which really meant quickly checking out different platforms for the instruction. We went with Zoom, like so many other companies, and with trial and error have tried to streamline it because it is a different experience. And there's like these micro encounters that happen in person that you need to find a way to make that happen remotely. But overall, I think it's gone quite well in terms of some of at the end of our full stack development program, for example, our students. They do 3 projects, but at the end they have their collaborative team project. And some of the best full stack apps we've seen were created during a remote program. So for us, that really validated the fact that the knowledge can be transferred through a remote setting. That said, so from a business perspective, yeah, it's been a roller coaster, and right now I feel like we're having to take a couple steps back to really see how we can support women right now. Our assumption is that money is tight for many people, It's scary to commit yourself to invest into a boot camp, not knowing what's going to happen in the face of uncertainty. So we're thinking of different ways to do that. We quickly developed a COVID relief fund to basically support folks that had been laid off, to help reduce the cost. And I mean, the pro to this remote experience, like a lot of boot camps, there are remote coding programs that have been out there pre-COVID. And I actually had a negative bias towards doing our boot camps remotely, because ultimately I was quite ignorant, because, you know, there's different ways to teach online. You can have just a video recording. And this is what I was quite skeptical of, because I think it's important to have someone who's there with you, present while you're going through a curriculum. And you can still have that online, actually. The professor can be with you all the time. And so, and on top of that, you can also record it. So you can get sort of the best of both worlds. And so this is now, you know, we do remote boot camps. We can extend our reach. So we have folks joining us now in our remote programs from like New York City, Toronto, Accra, Ghana, Tokyo. And so this is exciting because you can sort of increase how international the student demographic is. People can actually lower their costs because they don't have to, you know, fly to Barcelona to do the course. So it's ultimately, I think, been a good experience, you know.
So so how is your, like, the boot camp set up? Are they like cohorts? How many weeks are they? Like, standard in the United States is 16 weeks, I think.
Around 14? A lot of them are around like 12 weeks.
Oh, I slapped on another month for the hell of it.
No. I mean, you can also find some that are 6 months, huh? So there is definitely some variability in terms of the duration of boot camps. Ours, so we have different formats, right? So we have, for our data analytics and full stack development course, it's an 11-week program full-time, or a 6-month part-time program. I think what we found is that for women, and especially right now, a part-time program is really important because it allows someone to continue working, because not everyone can just take, you know, 3 months off.
Right.
And they can meanwhile start working towards changing industry and function. So that's the format for full stack development and data analytics. Our product management course is a 60-hour boot camp. So we have a full-time and part-time version of that. Basically, you know, in less than a month, you can learn to basically build your toolkit to do product management.
Oh, okay. So that's not technical though, is it?
So some product managers are technical. There's quite a bit of variability in terms of the type of product managers that are out there and what they're doing. And some of them come from engineering backgrounds, because we're a tech school, obviously, and because we're committed to sort of getting more women into tech. There is a technical component to our product management course. So folks learn how to do A/B testing, how to analyze it, how to query data using SQL, and that's kind of the extent to it. But it's certainly less technical than our other.
Than the other two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other than, so how is it? Like, I want to know, like, the atmosphere. You can't really see the atmosphere because we're going through Zoom here. But when you have women, so let's start here. How big are your cohorts? Like, how many in a cohort?
Yeah, it's around 6 on average. Basically, with COVID hitting, we've seen a decline. So we have about 6 students. So it's an intimate class.
Okay, so very intimate, and these just are all women.
Mm-hmm.
And so the comfort level, how is?
Yeah, it's okay. So there's different layers, right? People assume that, like, an all women space, and it's important to note too that we're trans inclusive. So trans women are encouraged to join our programs, as well as non-binary folks. And they look at us as sort of a monolith, like we're all the same, right? And in fact, we're quite different. Our students are between the ages of 18 to 45. Some are parents. some just graduated high school, some have postdoctoral studies, some have experienced chronic unemployment, some have worked as biologists. So, and I mean, from all over the world, quite literally every region, Africa, Asia, Europe, the Americas. So it's a diverse bunch of folks, and they come together, and that you have like cultural elements to it too, right? And so every cohort is so different, and I have not been able to sort of discern a pattern. Some folks, it's just like quieter. So with remote, definitely it takes a bit more time for the group to congeal, especially if it's a part-time program. With the full-time programs, it's an intense experience, and so everyone's sort of suffering together, and there's no better way to like establish rapport and camaraderie than when you're working on challenging stuff and you need to sort of confide into one another. And so it's different. I mean, it can be a bit quieter. Folks are shy, folks are scared, and then you have some folks who are just sort of real great group leaders, and they take charge, and the group congeals quickly, right? So ultimately, by a few weeks in, there's rapport that has built between the students. Yeah, but it's strange, right? Because no one's seen each other, and so we had a cohort, for example, that was supposed to be in person in Barcelona, and it was remote due to COVID. And so no one had ever seen each other, and now lockdown is over, and so we can see each other. So we saw each other, and it's a completely different experience, no? Because you're just seeing squares of people, and then you see bodies, and you feel personality. It's a nice experience, yeah.
So how does that? When you were saying that they come from all regions, it just occurred to me, like, what's the language barrier? Is there a language barrier?
Not really, because our courses are taught in English, so that's a requirement to attend the program.
You have to know
Certainly,
English.
yeah, exactly. You have to know English. Certainly, a lot of different accents,
Wait.
right? No, but yeah, we're all speaking English.
Where are your people that like teach the classes? Are they all in Barcelona?
They are Barcelona based for now. Yeah.
Okay. So they're all, how did you find them?
Well, so we're quite fortunate because CodeOp is not just this for-profit business; it's a social venture. So it is for-profit, but it's also has a mission behind it that we're serious about, and that means that a lot of folks who are looking to sort of connect their heads with their hearts, or do more meaningful work than maybe what they're experiencing in the corporate world, they're drawn and attracted to what we're doing. And what we're doing is not that common. In fact, if you look at all the coding boot camps out there, less than 1% are focused solely on women. So we're doing something unique, and that resonates with people. They're attracted to us. Some folks, they email us. We our CTO, for example, Joanna, incredible engineer. We met her at an event. She came to speak to our students. We just, felt a strong connection. We're able to convince her to join us as a CTO. She also teaches. And some have found us on Angel's List, a really important platform, obviously, for startups and technical professionals. And that's kind of it. A combination of word of mouth, events, as well as Angel List.
Wow. That's great that people are behind the
100%.
What, less than 1% focus on women? And
yeah. This was 2 years ago. I counted. I think that things might be changing, but not a lot, right? I mean, boot camps have been around for a long time, and you don't see a lot of all women coding schools out there. You're seeing them more, which is great. But what you still do not see, and that's really what CodeOp is on a mission to do, is that, so this issue of the gender disparity in tech, this is a chronic worldwide problem across the world.
This is what I wanted to get to. This.
Yeah. This is a chronic problem worldwide, to varying degrees, obviously. Actually, I think Portugal, for example, does a great job for whatever reason. I don't know why. Our CTO is from Portugal, so she'll be very proud of that fact. But anyways, it's a big issue that is worldwide, and yet There is no coding bootcamp that is an international brand. So the all-women coding schools out there tend to stay local, right? So they have one in their city, and that's kind of it. And there's no Iron Hack, there's no General Assembly. This is worldwide brand. And so we want to be that. We want to be that.
And then there's more to this, right? Not only do you help women be more comfortable in coding, you said it earlier, you're like transgender, you have made the environment welcoming, I guess I should say, for all of not just women, but people transitioning to be women.
Exactly.
Or right?
Exactly. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, there's no question the lack of representation in tech is not just for cis women, no.
Right.
It's also impacting non-binary folks, transgender folks. And so, when I launched CodeOp, I knew that, you're thinking you want it to be all women. Well, who does that include and who does it not include? This is an important question that we had to ask ourselves. And I was like, no question that I want trans women to be part of this. Okay, and what about, folks that don't identify? Absolutely, them too. They should, basically, I don't want toxic masculinity. I don't want to, that's the problem we're trying to undo by getting folks, different folks involved in tech. And so that was sort of a no-brainer for me. And at some point, though, we had this question of like, okay, well, you're marketing internationally, and folks, so we were using the term, for example, women identified, because you need to ask yourself how, so our course is in English, all the content is in English, we're based in Europe, and we're marketing to people around the world. No? And there's different language used in different countries. So what language will we use? And so we originally had started with women identified, and we did some testing, and folks in Spain were like, what does that mean? Does it include me? And when you're launching a new product, you're scared. You want to reduce confusion, right? At the same point, like really, so I was worried about that. I was worried, okay, how can is there a language, is there a universal language out there that we can use to promote trans inclusivity? And at some point, I took a step back and I realized, we're an educational institute. It's in English. If folks aren't familiar with this term, then there's an opportunity to learn these terms. And from then on, we always move forward and say women and TGNC, which is transgender and non-conforming, gender non-conforming.
And how is that?
Using these terms.
Have you had a lot of positive feedback, I guess, from that part? Like, as a transgender woman, as somebody being like, thank you for taking, like, have you seen a big...
Yeah, no, it was really beautiful. We had a trans woman in our cohort back in January, and she's provided incredible testimonies of just what an inclusive environment it was, and she felt right at home, and that's something that I'm most proud of, in fact.
Yeah, that's what you want, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. So other than being busy, right?
Yes.
Do you do anything outside of running?
I like road biking. So this is a hobby I picked up about 2 years ago. So I have a road bike, and I try to do that once a week, during the week, and then once on the weekend. And this is important for me. Aside from that, probably cooking, relaxing. This is quite embarrassing because I've been living in Spain for almost 4 years, and now I'm taking Spanish classes. So yeah. My Spanish has been subpar for a long time now, primarily because when I moved to Barcelona, it wasn't like a vacation for me. I was quite busy learning data science and just did not have the mental bandwidth to also learn. I was learning computer languages. I didn't have time to learn real languages. And then I started working as a data scientist, which obviously, it takes some time to feel comfortable in a new function, a new industry. And then I launched CodeOp. But then I'm like, okay, well, I'm always going to be busy. And so now I just have to sort of make this a priority. So I also am studying Spanish on my free time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now, was your data science class that you took, was that in English?
It wasn't English. Yeah.
Is that
It wasn't English.
the language that they don't use English?
No. I mean, officially, Barcelona is part of Catalonia. So actually, Spanish isn't, the local language is Catalan, which is different than Castellano or Spanish. That said, Barcelona is quite international. So, and this is part of the problem of why my Spanish is so horrid right now. It's because everyone speaks English. So it's quite easy to get by without speaking English.
Really? Everybody speaks English?
Many people do. Yeah, it's quite easy to get by.
Wow. English is like one of the hardest languages because it has different, there could mean different meanings.
Yeah, I've heard English is difficult to learn. I'm lucky that was just sort of a default.
You grew up with it.
Exactly.
So, okay, so you like to bike ride. I don't know how you do that, girl. Good for you, because that bike riding hurts my butt. I can't do it.
Yeah. No question about that. I don't know. It's something that I always sort of wanted to get into. I don't like going to the gym. My exercise has to be like a hobby. I have to get more out of it than just, if I go to the gym, I feel like, like a hamster, and it's important. It's important, obviously, to be exercising, and it can be really efficient to go to the gym. But I need a bit more than just exercise. And so, in the past, I was super into rock climbing. So that is basically indirectly kept me fit, more or less. I'm gonna do fit in quotations. I've never been an athlete. So I was climbing for a while, and then when I started my first master's, I needed something more, like a more efficient workout. So I started running, and then I did a marathon, and this is sort of on my bucket list. And then after I did a marathon, I never ran again. Basically, it was like, okay, check. Then I dabbled with windsurfing for a bit, and when I moved to Barcelona, I wasn't doing much in terms of activities. And so finally, I found a new hobby, which is the road biking. And it's a lot of fun because you can go far with a bike and see some beautiful places and experience it in a way that you wouldn't otherwise if you weren't on a bike.
This is so off the subject, but are you on the water? Oh, did I lock you up? Uh-oh.
I hear you now.
There you go. Okay.
This is so off the subject, was the last that I heard.
Oh, okay. So are you on the water?
Am I in the water?
Like, are you on, because Barcelona aren't you on
yes,
like water?
Yes. Barcelona is a beach town. The Mediterranean is right there. Yeah. It's on the Mediterranean. Oh, it's really spectacular. Yeah. I'm from North California, right? So, like the beaches there, I mean, you have the Pacific Ocean, right? It's an intense body of water. It's cold. There's sharks. There's currents. And it's not necessarily a relaxing place, right? Like you go to Ocean Beach in San Francisco and you feel the power of it. It energizes you, in fact. Whereas Mediterranean is like this bash. It's a beautiful, beautiful sea. So you'll have to check it out if you haven't.
I should. You know what? I should visit all these places that I'm.
You absolutely should.
Interview. That'll be what I do. So before I started recording, we were talking about it's really, really hot here in Ohio. Yeah. It's like in the 90s. And we're kind of in the middle of our summer. What are you?
Yeah, I would say the climate is very similar to California, but a bit more humid, right? And obviously in California you have many different microclimates. But it's July, it's the start of summer, it gets into the 90s, and it's humid.
Ugh.
So if you have like flat hair like mine, summer's a great time because you get a little extra boost from the humidity.
It helps that little.
Absolutely, a little volume.
I love it. So, okay, so now I'm going to have you say the website and kind of spell
Yeah,
it out. So,
sure.
if people want to check it out,
Okay.
so
It's CodeOp, right? So code, C-O-D as in dog, E, like coding, code, op, O-P. So one word, CodeOp.tech.
.tech. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then that's the website. They can go and get all the information.
absolutely.
They can sign up.
That's right.
Okay. What if somebody reaches, do you have like a contact us if they have questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. So just because I'm assuming you probably get a lot of questions.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like the same questions over and over, which are important. But also, we have a lot of different free coding workshops, different really cool events coming up that people, it's going to be
Oh,
remote, obviously.
talk about that. You have free coding workshops. Talk about that and then go into the
Mm,
events because
okay, okay,
that's people will love that kind of stuff.
cool. Right. So there's a lot of fear around learning how to code, and we want to disassemble this fear. And so we offer these free coding workshops that are online, and folks from within our community teach basically for 1 hour. There's a little lecture and then a hands-on activity that gets you coding, learning the fundamentals of JavaScript, of HTML, CSS. We have one coming up soon about SQL. And so this is about like querying data in a database. So these are all fundamental pieces, maybe learning Git, which is a version control system. All of this is free. Join in. Every other week we offer this.
I'm teaching myself Swift.
Look at you.
So I designed an app and I'm trying to program it and put it into the App Store. And I have to be honest with you, this is the hardest thing I've ever done
Good for you.
for
But you
coding.
like it. You like the challenge.
I like the challenge.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes.
No, this is the great thing about coding. I mean, this is all about, it's like doing a puzzle. It's like doing a digital puzzle. Your ego gets involved. It's really fun. And all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you're dreaming about it. So coding workshops, that's happening every other week online for free. And then we're putting together an event series. It's well, it's put together, and you can read more about the various events. Basically, it's 2 a month, and the idea is that we want to highlight what's happening on the margins of tech. So much of what we know about tech is like corporate worlds, the technologies that we use, but there's cool ways tech is being used that isn't as visible as like corporate tech world. And so we're bringing folks from quite literally around the world, from Kenya, from San Francisco, folks who are using tech in different ways. What do I mean by that? Talking about how they've used tech to work on social justice issues, tech activism, wine, how basically technology helped women start producing wine. We all like wine. We want to let's hear about the relationship between tech and wine, which, by the way, I know nothing about. We have a really big festival here, one of the biggest electronic festivals in Europe. It's called Sonar, and the head of digital communication, Georgia, she will be speaking a bit about technology and music. We have folks talking about rural entrepreneurship and tech. And we have the head of digital innovation who was working at Vueling, the airline, and now she's at Chanel, makeup and tech. Right? I'm telling you, things are getting crazy. It's your duty to start learning about tech because more and more we're going in this direction, right? So anyways, it's going to be fireside chats. It's not presentations. It's going to be a conversation like what we're having right now. I like this format because it's more intimate. It's more personable. It's less, it's less formal. And so it'll be like a 1 hour, 1 hour and a half fireside chat. And that's it. Also free.
Is that going to be recorded?
That's a good question. I think it should be, so long as the speaker is cool with that.
Because of the timing?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't come up with the technology to help us with the whole time zone thing, no? Waiting on like George Jetson and...
That's right. Right, because I would love to post that and get with it if you don't mind.
Absolutely. We'd love you to do that.
For because I think a lot of us over, a lot of women in general would dial in just to hear. You said wine, and probably everybody shut down at that point. Was just like, how do I sign up for that one?
Right? Yeah, wine. I know. And this is a super amazing woman who's involved with doing various wine, like educational wine activities in Barcelona. Fantastic person. So it'll be interesting.
Wow. That's great. Wow. Look at you taking over the world.
No. Just trying to stay engaged, it's been a really, I never thought I want to do entrepreneurship. That's not that conversation never happened. I didn't go to school. I come actually from a family that it's like small business owners in plumbing. And my sister has a boutique. My grandfather was a plumber. They had their own businesses, and they didn't believe in like going to school to learn about business. And so this was sort of how I was raised. And so I didn't pursue business studies. It was just more about wanting to build a community that has, shared values, but is also intellectually engaging. No, it's these like two main things that were really important to me. And in the end, that's what's happening.
That's awesome. So good. So, well, you're really busy. I want to make sure we're all right on time.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, because it's your day there. So, right, like it's your morning. Have you had your coffee?
It's 10:41. I've had my coffee. I've had my breakfast. I have a stand-up with my team in an hour and 20 minutes.
That's awesome. Oh, so you have a stand-up with your
virtual?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a 10-minute stand-up, but what it really is a 1-hour virtual sit-down. So that's something new for us, connecting virtually, because we're a really tight team. There's no question that, so we're all familiar with the sort of probability of a startup failing. It's quite high.
Yes.
And so I always went into this thinking it will eventually fail. It hasn't yet. But I went into it thinking it would fail. And so I'm aware of that, right? And if you make it after 3 years, then the probability really goes down. And you're kind of like in the clear zone. But what I try to do is say, even if it were to fail tomorrow, I feel so fortunate for X, Y, and Z. No, we did an investment round, something that I've never done fundraising in my life. What an incredible experience that was, pitching this idea, the stupid idea that you had like a few months ago, to investors, people that, have money to give to businesses, and super intense. It's like 25 times worse than online dating. Like you get ghosted. You put your heart and soul out there, and you feel led on. You're like, wait, but I thought we had a connection. And so a really intense experience. But in the end, we closed our seed round with over €250,000. 90% of our investors are men backing our vision. Like, brilliant experience that I feel so fortunate to have had. But anyways, we were talking about my team, and the point is too, building this team for me is one of the proudest things I can say about what we've done at CodeOp. Just putting together this group of individuals that are super smart, are kind of quirky, and have a really big heart. These people are my friends, and that's been a real privilege to assemble.
I think all IT people have a bit of quirkiness to them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do you feel awkward regularly? You should apply to a boot camp. You're gonna love tech.
That's true. The introverts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's great. So do you have any plans, vacations, anything?
So I spoke with one of our board advisors last week about vacation, because, okay, where in the States, like, we don't have so much vacation time in comparison to Europe, for example. You have over 30 days of vacation, and that doesn't include sick time, no? So that's just purely vacation time. And basically in Barcelona, everything shuts down in the month of August. Everyone goes on vacation. Yeah. Things shut down. And so this is a new culture that I have to acclimate to, that hasn't been so easy, because I feel guilty for taking vacation, especially being a CEO. I feel, with a startup, I feel a lot of pressure about it. And especially now, because with COVID, obviously, there's been a lot of work with, troubleshooting new problems and making new plans, new programs. And I'm like, this is kind of a critical period. Should I take this time off? And one of my board members was like, absolutely. So okay, well, if I get the green light from you, then I will take a vacation. And so I will go to the south of Italy with my partner to relax on the beach for a bit. Nice. And then maybe some backpacking. Yeah, that's one of the privileges that comes with living in Spain anyways. You have a lot of beautiful places just an hour flight away, and you have vacation time.
Wow, that's so nice. Backpacking. Wow.
Yeah, I don't take it for granted.
No. Don't. Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, enjoy your August off.
Thank you. Well, I will not be taking all of August off, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Well, enjoy your time off, because you definitely deserve it. And I'm going to post your website to get with it for those fireside chats and free workshops. And then maybe we can get some people interested in the camp, come into the boot camp. Here virtually. So it's going to be CodeOp. CodeOp.tech. Okay. All right. So, and then out of curiosity, you might get people who want to just reach out to you directly. Are you okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. I love talking. I mean, it's important that we talk, especially if people are thinking about launching their own businesses or getting into tech. We need to support that. So
yes. Okay. Perfect.
Cool.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too.
Beautiful. I can see the sun. It's going to be a beautiful day. And thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I know you have a really busy schedule, but I think our audience is going to be super excited to hear you, and then go to the website and check all that out. So
thanks very much for taking the time to hear a bit more about my crazy journey.
We love it. That's how it all starts. Most of us don't start in IT, so they love it. So, well, I thank you again, and you enjoy the rest of your day, and please enjoy your vacation.
Thanks. Take care.
You too.